Hey everybody, Stealth here. I'm posting a little video here about the Elder Scrolls Online. Recently announced, I think yesterday was actually when it was finally announced, from ZeniMax Studios. They're going to be making an Elder Scrolls game in MMO format. There's been a lot of hemming and hawing and whatnot about if it's going to be good, if it's going to be bad. But just recently I found a nice little link. I'll post that down in the comments or the description as well, to the Game Informer article that kind of got pre-released. Somebody scanned it pre-issue or something that they got and posted it online. So if you're not subscribed to Game Informer, or if you're just really interested like me and want to get the details as soon as possible, I'll post that article down there. But I'm posting this video just to kind of give some highlights of what was in there. Give you a few screenshots, see what's going on, and just try to give you the general of the article, if you will. So, we'll start off with this nice little screenshot here with what appears to be a very Skyrim-esque dungeon. You can see the statues in the background with what appear to be horns coming off their helmets, so this is probably in the Skyrim province, though I could be wrong. But as you can see, there are multiple players there. There are 3, and those will all be controlled by people, not NPCs. So let me bring up my little notepad here. First and foremost, this is being made by ZeniMax Online, not Bethesda. From what the article is saying, Bethesda is involved deeply in the production of this, but this is made by ZeniMax Online, a complete different company. So that is cause for some, so we're looking for some troubles. But like I said before, the article also stated that Bethesda was very big in the game development and it's overshadowing it a lot, so we will have to see. It's going to be using the Hero engine, the same as Star Wars The Old Republic, which is bringing up some controversy because I've never played Star Wars The Old Republic, but apparently it wasn't the best engine in the world. It wasn't very good at handling a lot of people on screen at the time, but we will have to see. That may have been something to do with their servers. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not a big MMO guy myself, actually. Only played WoW a little bit. So, like I said, I'm just giving you some details here. A couple of quotes that I thought stood out in the article. First of all, was from the front page. This really hypes it up, I think. What happens when hundreds or thousands of prophesized heroes all think they should be emperor? It sounds like a good game premise myself. I mean, it sounds like endgame will just be massively PvP, which that could be fine with. One thing a lot of people are concerned about, and I'm concerned about it myself, is that it's already been confirmed that it's going to be a hotkey or hotbar style combat in the third person. It's not going to be the same old Skyrim, Morrowind, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls games that we've grown to love. It's going to be different. It's going to be more of an MMO style or generic MMO style. So we will have to see how that works out. It's going to have a stricter skill tree, so you can't be master of everything. You can't be, level 100 at smithing and heavy armor and light armor and all you can't max out on everything, which I think is appropriate for an MMO. You have to have different classes. You can't just have everybody being godlike. So we'll see how that works out. Guilds will still be in the game. Everything will be and can be explored. I say will be because I will be like in every nook and cranny trying to find cracks in the game to try and get outside the level. That's just how I play. I don't know. And I'm sure if it's anything from ZeniMax or Bethesda, there will be ways to get outside the level. There always is. Still be guilds in the game. So we're still going to have the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, and supposedly that's going to be a big way to get the reputation up in the game. So I think it's going to be kind of centered around guilds a lot. So we'll see how that works out. I'm saying that a lot because honestly we don't know exactly what's coming. A lot of the stuff just, is just from this one article. So we still have a lot to see coming up in the future. The landmass is going to be much larger than Skyrim, which is good because it's going to include most of Tamriel, including Skyrim, Somerset Isle, Elsewhere, and my personal favorite, Morrowind. I'm really hoping they do a good job at recreating Morrowind in more of high definition, of course, not old Morrowind, which is clunky and blocky, but just the feel of Morrowind. I always loved that area, and that's the reason I kept going back to that game, honestly. Um, so here's crossing our fingers that they get that right. Basic storyline of the game, from what I've read and what I've seen, is it's going to take place about 1,000 years before the events of Skyrim, when the province of Cyrodiil is in like constant warfare, and the Imperials are trying to get back control of Tamriel. So in order to do so, they're going to team up with this necromancer named Manny Marco, who is unknowingly to them scheming with Molag Bal to just like destroy Tamriel. So, and how the characters fit into this is every player when they start out, I'm sure there's going to be a little background video explaining this. Their soul has been stolen by Molag Bal. Molag Bal. I hate that name. Bale? Molag Bale? I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, honestly. Even though I've played Skyrim and heard him say his name. Whatever. So basically, your soul has been stolen, and you need to fight to get it back from Molag Bal. This also explains how they can keep the mechanic of being able to die over and over again and not, have to delete your character. Because you don't have a soul, so you can just die as much as you want, I guess. So we'll see how well that works out. Let's see here. There's going to be 3 different, what I want to say, not races, not... 3 different groups, I guess. I can't think of the word that World of Warcraft uses for this. But there's going to be the Ebonheart Pact, which is going to include the Nords, the Dunmer, and the Argonians. And if you know anything about Elder Scrolls lore, you will be thinking to yourself, that sounds like a weird combination of peoples, because they all hate each other. Yes, this is true, but they don't hate each other as much as they hate, well, everybody else. So for the time being, they've teamed up under this Ebonheart Pact, and they're all going to be on the same side. The next one is going to be the I can't pronounce freaking Altmer talk. Aldmeri Dominion, which is going to be Altmer or High Elves, Bosmer or Wood Elves, and Khajiit. All those guys pretty much get along. Except the Khajiit. The Khajiit kind of seem odd in there. I would really expect Argonians and Khajiit to kind of team up, with the beast races. But, what do I know? And then there's going to be the Daggerfall Covenant, which is Bretons, Redguards, and Orcs. Now, you will notice Imperials are in none of those groups. That's because the Imperials are just going to be the general enemy. Much like in World of Warcraft, there was a general enemy for both sides to fight. Well, the Imperials are that one in this game. So I'm pretty excited. There's 3 different opposing forces, because it should make raids and not raids. What am I thinking? Battlegrounds. There we go. It should make Battlegrounds a lot more exciting, because you're just gonna have more people to kill. Although it's still gonna seem like it's just you against them, so it's not that big of a deal, I guess. One thing they brought up that I thought was really exciting is every point of interest is going to be, as they put it, like a D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, sorry, for people that aren't as nerdy as me, Dungeons and Dragons adventure. So basically what they mean is, you enter, like, a quest line, and that quest line is going to be all-encompassing. It's not going to be like you enter an area and do a bunch of different quests for a bunch of different random people that you don't care about, and then you leave the area and nothing changes. It's going to be like a story in and of itself. That's from what I'm getting. So that should be a little bit different than the common MMO style. One thing I like is not every point of interest will be easy to find. You know, they're not going to appear on the map. They're going to be hidden, and ZeniMax does realize that there's going to be guides and maps and everything online within the first 2 days of the game being out. But if you don't use those, there's still going to be a lot of stuff to explore and find, and generally keep the Elder Scrolls feel. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited they're trying to change it up a little bit. Uh, they did have a little thing in the article where they went through like a story portion, and it seemed really cool. And it sounds by the way things are going, it seems that the story can progress, and it can change areas for you. Like the people in that area will react differently to you when you're done with that quest, even though it's not that way for everybody else. So we'll have to see how well that works, because I'm really afraid it's gonna split people up. Like people that have completed that quest line the same as you have will have the same area ish, I guess. Now that I got thinking about it, but you won't be able to see what's on their screen exactly, or at least the interactions will be different. I don't know. I don't know how you could make that work in an MMO type fashion, so we will have to see, I guess. That's the only way we'll be able to do that. You will be able to join up with players that haven't completed a quest line that you've completed, and then like recomplete it. Although it's not really clear in the article if that'll change your end game or your result, so you can both share it, or if yours will still be the same. Like I said, we'll have to see once the gameplay hits. I'm curious as to how they're going to do that exactly. One thing that's nice is quests in the quest chains can be skipped, or you can just completely miss them and still get to the end of the quest chain and still complete the quest and the mission and wrap it up without having to go online and find a guide, because you just can't find that one guy with an arrow over his head that you just can't freaking find. You've been searching all over the place for him. So that's gonna be nice. Another thing I'm excited about is they're gonna be bringing back public dungeons. So there's gonna still be raids and private dungeons where you and your little group go in, and it's more of an instance style where it's not connected to the main world, much like every dungeon in WoW. But there's also gonna be public dungeons, which are just open areas with lots of monsters, and I imagine it's gonna be chaos, but it should be fun. And it's gonna open up more opportunity to just get to know random people. When you're raiding, especially with like the way WoW does it now, you push a button, you get a healer, you get a tank, you get a DPS together, and you just go. And once you're done with that, you press the button again and get new people. It's a lot less social now. You have to like figure out who's good, who's bad, and then raid together. I don't know. It's good. It should lead to a lot more social experience of what WoW's become. Let's see. A little list of what's gone. So, of course, because of it going MMO, some things are going to have to be lost. It's not going to be the same game, a lot of people are complaining about that, but it's almost impossible to make a MMO style game like they want, or like they're trying to make, and keep everything from the Elder Scrolls style. So you're not going to be able to come up with vampire or werewolf. I'm sure there were just balance issues with that. Dragons are not going to be part of this game, which I'm not really going to miss. They weren't part of Morrowind. They weren't part of Oblivion, really. So they were in Skyrim, but yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the dragons in Skyrim anyways. And plus, if you follow the lore, this is 1,000 years before the events of Skyrim. So the dragons are still not around at that point, so it'd be kind of weird for them to add it in anyways. Pets or companions, they're not going to have, which I think is good. You don't need a companion anymore. You have teammates. That was the whole reason behind a companion or having a pet. You can't marry NPCs anymore. You can't have NPC romances or large relationships with them, which is good. You know, it's why would you be playing an MMO to get married to an NPC? I don't know. One thing I don't like that they're leaving out that I understand is you can't buy houses anymore. So you're not gonna have a home base to operate out of. So we'll see how that works out. I'm really hoping they do something though, because I don't even just like a guild house. If you make a guild and buy a house, that would be cool. We'll see how it works out. I just always liked owning houses. I'm a pack rat. I always fill my house with stuff. So, let's see here. What else we got? A little snippet about the combat system. The combat system will not be real time, which, if you're thinking, wait, not real time, what is this, like turn based? Not exactly. They just mean it's going to be a WoW style, which is still real time, but it's not real time. If that makes any sense at all. So it's going to be hotbar with cooldowns style, much like WoW, but of course it's going to have its own little twist on it. Basically, they're basing the entire combat system around stamina. So you're gonna be able to use that to sprint, interrupt, block, and break like ice effects and stuff like that. Blocking is gonna be the primary one from the sounds of things, and you'll be able to like blocking is pretty badass. It what ZeniMax is hoping works is by using the blocking function, anybody could tank. So hopefully it breaks the whole having a healer tank and DPS, although I doubt it will. It doesn't matter what game you play if it's multiplayer, it's always best to have the tank, healer, and DPS. That's how it breaks down, and I doubt this is gonna fix it. So we will see. The stamina is also going to be good for PvP, and managing your opponent's stamina is going to be the big way of winning PvP by the sounds of things. There is going to be a nice little feature that you combine like special moves, which they go into a little bit more in the article. I'm just going to briefly cover it. But basically, like if you are playing with a rogue and a mage, so one example they give, the rogue can lay down an oil slick and the mage can land on fire. So there's going to be like interaction between the classes, which I really like. It just seemed like in WoW you're just always doing your own thing and just attacking enemies. This sounds like they're going to try to make it a team effort. Yeah, and the last thing with the combat that I got, I guess, for right now, is there's going to be no aggro mechanic. So that's going to be the big thing of why everybody has the blocking, and that might be the way to get rid of the tank. Honestly, I'm not sure. There's an airplane flying over my house. I hope that doesn't get picked up. Doesn't sound or doesn't look like it is on XSplit, but holy crap, is that loud! All right, but because there's no aggro mechanic, anybody can get attacked, which means everybody's going to be kind of fending for themselves. But I'm sure there's still going to be a way to tank it. You know, just move in and get in between the guy who's getting hit and the guy who's hitting them, if nothing else. So that we will have to wait and see, of course. All in all, I'm really excited for this game. It's not going to be Skyrim or Oblivion or Morrowind multiplayer. It's definitely not that. You know, they could have done it like a Borderlands style where there's only like 3 or 4 of you in the game, and I think that could have worked out too. They could have called it like something different. Not because I guess the name could have stuck, Elder Scrolls Online. But at the same time, I feel like this may have its own place. It's not going to be for everybody, of course. If you don't like MMOs as it is right now, it doesn't sound like this is going to be revolutionary, or it's going to be it's going to suck you in if you hate World of Warcraft or Guild Wars or any of those. But it may still be good. We're gonna I'm gonna hold off judgment and it sounds like they're doing a lot of stuff to kind of break the old, basically boring WoW formula. I don't understand how people can still play that game. It's just such a boring game. Well, who am I to say? I play StarCraft, and a lot of people don't like that game. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to leave you with this little screenshot of this guy who looks extremely angry flailing that sword around. Man, he looks angry. I'm assuming those are Atriox, which is good. I like Atriox. Anyways, I'm going to leave you this screenshot. This has been Stealth, of course, and I'm going to be bringing you more on Elder Scrolls Online as I learn more, and as I just get more information settled and whatnot. So stay tuned for more of that, and like I said before, that article will be down in the comments, or the description, not in the comments, in the description below. So check that out, or just go buy Game Informer. Give them some revenue. Alright, everybody, I'll talk to you later.